Hello and welcome to another edition of the Grandstanders Live. I'm your host, Scott Kerman, and I'm joined by my usual cohorts, the Professor, Russ Stevens, and JP's first son, Tim Hoey. Well, hopefully we're going to get joined by Uncle Joe, guys, live at the game. But of course, we start with the game. It's now in the bottom of the fifth inning. This is the quickest game in the history of playoff baseball, boys.
A little different than last night. 2 hours into the second inning.
Yeah, so we are hour 24 into this game. Last night, that was the top of the second.
Yeah.
And now we're in the bottom of the fifth.
Chris, guys, it's if they call this a getaway day, it just usually doesn't happen in the playoffs.
Yeah, the ALCS. Yeah, that's a great point, Russ.
Right.
Look, we've gotten everything we could have ever asked for from Chris Sale. 5 innings, 1 run, just a solo shot. Got out of a great jam in the fourth inning, but the Red Sox bats have been silent since yesterday after the first inning.
Yep.
Scotty, does this take him off the Scott Kerman hate list?
I don't know. I guess so, right? If they win the game, it does. Absolutely.
So
yes.
all non-COVID vaccinations are forgiven, and
No, that's never forgiven. But no, absolutely. Chris Sale came through today.
Yep.
I don't know. Look, that 99 miles an hour to strike out Tucker shows that obviously he's into it now.
Yeah, I think he came out today and probably Cora said, throw as hard as you can for as long as you can, and we'll back you up. And they've got Houck ready to go, and he's doing what he's supposed to be doing. I give the guy credit. So now we need a break. Now we need an error. We need a walk. We need something goofy to happen because this kid's going to keep running out there as long as he's throwing a perfect game. I mean, he's not coming out of his game anytime soon.
Go ahead, Scotty. Why can Sale throw 99 tonight, but he couldn't last week?
Yeah, I don't know. But I was going to ask the same question. How can a team that looks so good offensively for the
games? I think they ran it. Look, we all know good pitching beats good hitting. I mean, Chris Sale's beating these guys tonight for the most part. He's pitching well. You get a pitcher who's on it. He's throwing 95-mile-an-hour sinkers that are dropping out of the zone. I mean, they can't even make decent contact.
Yeah,
I thought Xander's ground ball was a moral victory last inning. That's how bad it is right now. So they need to manufacture something. Something has to happen.
And that's exactly. They need a guy. They need someone to get a walk.
The
small ball right now. This is a small ball game.
Yep. Look, you're one swing away from tying this game. You're a walk and a swing away from being ahead. So, there's a long way to go. They've got 5 at-bats left, and so, but yeah, we haven't scored forever.
Yeah.
Look,
it just seemed like the mojo was gone last night. I mean, things, they just seem like different guys. I mean, some of the swings, JD Martinez's swing was way off last night. Looked like a different guy.
Are you guys surprised? Hunter Renfroe looks like he can't play baseball anymore.
Honestly, he's looked bad from really through the end of the year. He just became a different player. He became his baseball card basically.
Right. Yeah.
Towards the end of the year, and it's carried over. There we go. There's Devers just got a single. So there's our first hit.
There we go.
50 pitches in, and now we can try to make something happen.
You guys watching a different channel than I'm watching here?
Well, you're streaming it. You're streaming.
No, I'm not streaming it. I think I have it on live. Yeah. I'll be right back.
Well, this is a unique show. This is the first time we've ever watched. We've had a show where we're watching.
I like it.
Yeah, absolutely.
I like it. It's like the Manning brothers on Monday Night Football. Have you seen them do that yet?
I've seen clips.
It's really good. It's really good. Yeah. I mean, it's fun. So our viewers can't see the game, and our viewers, many of whom will be watching this at another day and date.
Yeah. Well, JD's up now, and JD has looked lost. He looked lost yesterday, Russ. I mean, the ball was,
he just got hit by a pitch, so he did something right.
Perfect. Look, it was pretty clear from game 1 with Valdez is that, you had to get him off.
You lose it fast. Yep. Absolutely. Keep the pressure on. Dusty Baker's making a visit. Like, you're one swing away from being up 2 runs. So let's just manufacture something. Long way to go.
And
I have a lot of faith in this
Astros.
team.
I hate the Astros, Rustin. He has that shit ass grin that Valdez is throwing every 5 seconds. I just want to punch him in the face. I can't. Really, is there a more unlikable team? Seriously,
No.
I like Judge. I like Aaron Judge a lot. So I don't see the Yankees.
I don't dislike him. Yeah.
No, I'm saying the Yankees don't have those annoying players like the Astros do.
Right. Brett Gardner is annoying. He's the only one on the Yankees that should be on the Astros, but I basically agree with you.
Yeah. And Altuve, that little jerk, he really is a great player.
For a guy who's been struggling as badly as he's been struggling to do what he did last night, look, that's the pitch we're going to want. If we don't win this series, that's the pitch we're going to want back. That was a, kind of lazy, to be honest with you. I thought the pitch call was a lazy pitch call. Start the inning, groove a fastball, get up ahead in the count, and they were waiting for it. And it was just, throw a slider in the dirt or something. Do something different.
I don't want to interrupt, but would you bunt with Renfroe? Can he bunt?
I don't know if he can bunt. It's still early in the game too,
But this feels like a double play waiting.
Yeah, look, I put the runners in motion or do something. You got JD's on first is the problem. So, and Devers got decent speed, but I consider doing something, make something happen.
Yeah,
here.
First and second right now, no outs. Bottom of the 5th, 1-0 count.
He's also having trouble finding the plate. So now, if he wants to give you a walk, maybe do something if he gets a strike on you. But he's looking less confident now than he did.
Just what we didn't want, boys. Just what we didn't want.
We didn't double play.
Double play.
Holy shit!
Yeah.
Is that right?
There you go. There's Timmy's. Timmy's ahead of the game. You need Timmy to pause it or something. Yeah.
So we're on the shoes on the other foot because I'm usually streaming and I'm getting updates.
That's exactly what.
Yeah.
I don't know, a bunt. Could they have made? Running on a bunt. I mean, could you have done that? You would have had to be running to make it to third. I don't know where
that's terrible. That's just horrible. That was a high pitch too. That wasn't any sync.
Yeah. And by the way, he was up 2-0 on that in that at bat. 2-0 and he swung at the pitcher's pitch. So that's just a bad at bat. The guy hasn't been good. It was a horrible outside pitch he tried to pull. Yeah. Right. And what do you do on an outside? What do you do on an outside pitch?
Here's the guy who. Here's the guy who likes the spot fight. Verdugo loves the spot.
That's just bad baseball. We talk about that for many years. Playoff baseball, you have to do those little small things to win. You're down.
Well, hit the ball to the right side there if you're going to go with that pitch. But he's been basically trying for a home run. Renfroe's been killing us, and he's right in the middle of the lineup. Yeah. Right, and he's just killing us right now. So that's against a lefty with a 2-0 count. You like your chances there. So. I don't know. Like they're going to need to get. They're going to need to. Well, yeah. If we're getting
far behind.
Yeah, we just got.
Is my network quicker than you guys?
I guess so. Yeah, we should probably.
Wow, that was terrible.
Okay, I won't clue you in anymore.
Yeah, so that was just horrible. Had first and second, no outs, and they just rolled it over.
Russ, I think I'll go back to the small ball. This turned into a small ball game. Yeah. Maybe if you have to put a pinch hitter up there to get a bunt down. I mean, would you have thought of that?
I mean, I don't look. Here's the problem with Renfroe is he's killing you offensively. I think he's hitting 061, something like that. And last night's, let's not underestimate that. He looked like he was dodging an incoming in Vietnam last night, trying to catch that ball. Yeah. So he's hurting you defensively. The problem, who do you put out there, though?
That's my question.
Right then you could have Verdugo hit a ball that would have driven in a run. They would have stayed back. So
what do you do though? But let's think about this. Like, what do you do about Renfroe? He's hurting you now, right? He's hurting you. But you don't have it. Like, you could put JD in right, but his ankle hurts, and then put Dahlbeck at first, I suppose. I don't know.
The play was he pinch hit Santana because Renfroe was going so bad in game 1. That was an opportunity to pinch hit Santana, have him bunt, and then Santana plays left, and then you move Verdugo to right.
It's not right now. We're, Renfroe is an automatic out or two in that case.
And 50-50 in the outfield.
And 50-50. No, I mean, he's got a great arm, but he's not a great fielder. So as I said, he's become his baseball card. Unfortunately, it's a rough time of year.
The plus is for him in the outfield and his arm. After that, it's negatives.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I think they're going to, possibly we'll go back and review of this game, and that may have been the big moment. Not to
could have been
at this point.
Yeah, could have been. But again, still 4 at bats left. Now you can't let them get any insurance runs. That's the bottom line. Got 4 at bats.
This is my problem. Cora is so aggressive with putting in pitchers in situations, but yet in that situation, he would have replaced Renfroe with another pitcher, but he doesn't do that with a hitter.
Yeah, it was definitely questionable. It wasn't completely obvious because you're only in the 5th inning,
right?
But an aggressive approach would have had them, at least hit and run or something there, right?
He does have 31 home runs, but they haven't come for a while. He's not in that groove right now.
And Joe said the crowd is underwhelming today, noise wise. Well, when you put any batters on.
Last night, the same thing. It was a nervous, subdued last night. I mean, people were trying to shout and get lively, but there was an undercurrent of vulnerability to it. You know what I mean?
Interesting.
Yeah, it's been an interesting crowd. I mean, we talked about it last week. A younger crowd, definitely. There's been a transition from even our age group to a younger group, right?
F-bomb
chants. Those are new.
Yeah, the F Altuve, which gets.
So let me ask you a question. So let's project a loss, right? How are we feeling going back to Houston with Evaldi and Erod pitching?
Well, Evaldi would pitch game 6, correct?
You would, yep.
Yeah, I mean, obviously all hands on deck there. This Sale. Oh, did he hit Altuve? No,
he missed him.
By the way, this is their best pitcher, right? So this is Houston's best pitcher is pitching in game 5.
That's
right. So that means he's at best coming in relief in game 7. So Houston's still not out of the woods in terms of their pitching staff right now. And we have our 2 best starters going. So it's not a disaster. I thought it would be a problem if Sale came out in the 2nd inning and we had to run through a whole bunch of relievers. But right now, unless it goes into extra innings, it looks like we're going to be all right.
Yeah, 2-1 count to Altuve. He's leading off the inning. They're clearly going 3-1. There's a lot more off-speed pitches to Altuve.
So look, I normally though, unfortunately, whoever wins game 5 wins the series. So a loss here would put us in tough shape. But look, there's a lot of series left to go on this, and we were, everyone's sort of saying this was over, which we weren't. But there are a lot of people saying the series was over.
I thought if they won last night, that was the series.
Yeah.
There's no question that would have been the series.
Altuve's on first.
What did you think of the? So you didn't see the Dodgers game? I was watching the Dodgers game right through the beginning of this game. The Dodgers comeback last night was phenomenal.
5-2, and then 8th.
Phenomenal. Bellinger hit a ball that was at his neck. He literally hit a ball out, a 97 mile an hour fastball that was at his neck. I was like, that's superhuman.
Yeah, he's been clutch for them.
Only Rafi Devers could do that on our team. He's the only one on our team who could do that kind of thing.
So is Cora playing with fire right now, keeping Sale in? Because this is.
I mean, he's. Oh boy, you're not gonna like that.
Oh shit! He dropped it, or he called him out.
No, he didn't. No. Now we're in trouble. I was thinking last night, we've played with fire with Schroeder at first, and we've gotten away with it. He hasn't made a boneheaded play that has really hurt us, but now that's it, guys. I think
what just happened? I just missed it.
This could be the game ender.
What happened?
He dropped a ball that a first baseman in Little League, literally a 10-year-old first baseman would catch. So we got problems. This is not, and this one's not on sale. He did exactly what he was supposed to there. We're
doing what Houston was doing to themselves in the first in the game.
I mean, that's just an atrocious play. Never had it. Well, gonna take a miracle now. I feel bad for the guy. I mean, the guy's been so good too. I mean, he's been a terrific player, but we sacrificed defense. Even, by the way, he didn't start Dahlbeck tonight.
Yeah.
I mean, against the lefty, he went with Schwarber.
Well, I thought actually he would have benched Renfroe and put Schwarber in left field, and then Verdugo in right.
I mean, you were going to put right-handers in your lineup tonight. That's how you do it with Schwarber. So, yeah, it's rough.
No, we got one anyways.
All right. I mean, Sale just induced two barely ground balls.
Yeah.
So
Sale's into it like I haven't seen in a long time. And this is the monkey off his back. Kershaw needed that last year.
Yeah.
Chris Sale has been a below average pitcher in postseason. This is his big moment.
So men on second and third, 1 out with the big lefty up. Why? I would think that you'd walk him, wouldn't you?
I think
he's already got you for a home run. He's 2 for 2.
I'd get the force out at home too.
Right. You know? I mean, you have to walk him.
I'd walk him.
Yeah, you have to walk him because
they're not
next.
A righty.
Was it Correa?
Trouble, boys.
Correa.
Trouble, big trouble.
This is mindless. This decision is mindless by Cora.
2 runs.
Mindless. Yep. There you go.
I would have walked him.
That's by the way, that's on Cora. That's just that is 100% on Cora right there. That is horrible.
Yeah.
Absolutely pitiful.
I would have walked.
That's a ball game probably. All right. Well, now let's talk about going to Houston down 3-2 because that's what it's looking like.
Yeah, that's on Cora.
This one's over. That's a terrible strategic mistake by Cora. That's not a second guess. That's a first guess. This guy's he's 3 for 3. He's 2 for 2 against you.
Yeah.
With a home run to opposite field. And he got men on second and third.
We could have set up a double play, force it home.
Pitiful.
It's a small ball game too, you know.
Pitiful decision.
And then you put it on Avino.
Yep. You take Sale out. I mean, that's pitiful.
I'd leave him in. That wasn't Sale's bag. You know what I mean?
Now it doesn't even matter though to me. Now he's 90 pitches in. He's frustrated. He's got a righty coming up.
He's up to 90. Yeah, 90.
Yeah. He's got a righty coming up. Cora fouled that up bad. He does. And by the way, he's not that. That's not the kind of coach he is normally. But Cora has to Scotty's point, this last 10 minutes for Cora has been a disaster. Men on first and second doesn't do anything, and then men on second and third doesn't do anything.
Yeah, I've always he can get very lazy in the.
He got lazy here. I don't know what he was doing.
I mean, look, he got what he wanted in 5 innings. I thought I was shocked that Sale came out for the 6th. You're playing with fire, and I'm always for these guys that you got to end these pitchers in a positive note. We know that. We learned that from Pedro. You got to take these guys out in 2003. It never goes well. And look, that's a no-brainer. They walked Gurriel last night, if you remember.
Yep.
That move worked out. And how can you not walk Alvarez?
I agree. How do we all know it and he doesn't?
I'll be interested to hear what he says after. Russ, I understand, after game 2, it was, to be apologetic toward Cora, but he blew game 1.
I don't know. Yeah. Whether he blew it, it wasn't his finest moment, but I'm not sure he blew it.
But understand, what was the downside to challenging get the hit by pitch?
None. Yeah, none. But by the way, he's probably got someone who's telling him, like Ernie Adams, right? Who's saying, are we going to review it or not? He's not getting the best version of that. Like that's a failure of the coaching staff. That's a failure, which he runs, but that's a failure. But even if it's a hit by pitch, that wasn't guaranteed to score. Look.
Well, it was bases loaded, mid bases loaded.
He's had 10 bad minutes here. He has not been a problem in the playoffs. He's made many 80% of his moves have been good. That was bad right there.
Nothing can happen though. It's all irrelevant unless
if you don't score runs, right.
Red Sox start hitting. It's all wish-wash.
Yeah. But by the way, his luck has run out. I mean, we can definitely say that. Like he got lucky in a bunch of decisions. His luck has run out, right? He brought Eovaldi in last night into a tie game with the hope that he'd bridge it into a winning situation. So he blew through 24 pitches with Eovaldi. He started Schroeder tonight against a lefty. Schwarber's done nothing at bat and just cost him a run at least.
Look, instead of walking Alvarez, he was obviously going to put in Bergier against Correa and having bases loaded. And we'll obviously see what transpires. It's 3-0 and now a man's on second.
Yeah, no, our manager took us out of this game. Yeah, 100%. The manager took us out of this game, and he's going to have to answer for that. It's bad. I got no defense from there. And he should have done something last inning. Should have done something this inning.
Yeah, I mean, we knew Renfroe was going to hit into a double play. We knew if he didn't strike out, he was going to hit into a double play.
Yeah, no, you were hoping that you want him to hit a 3-run homer. That chances are very low, and then. The problem is that your next best hope is that he hits into a double play and then he strikes out, right?
Yeah. Now if Renfroe grounds out, right? I mean, if Correa grounds out right now, literally he costs you 2 runs.
Yeah. Yep. That's true.
So far he didn't bunt when he shouldn't have bunted. He didn't walk when he should have walked.
That's right. That's exactly right.
You're gonna like.
You're gonna like.
He's not managing this game as it's
right. But yes, I totally agree. But we're not putting this series loss on Corey yet, right? Like he's largely made the right decisions, and he did come back to bite him the last game. That's for sure.
Correa strikes out, so now it looks even worse.
Yeah.
If Bergier gets Tucker, who's tough, this is not a very good matchup right now. But if Bergier
has been very tough fall series.
This just also shows. Wait. Can we talk about Corey yesterday putting in Martin Perez? Give me an explanation for that one.
Yeah, that was just as I said. He really started his. Oh boy. Yeah. His luck ran out. He was trying to sneak someone else into that game to get them out of it, and that blew up in his face. Everything's blown up in his face since the last 9 innings. Everything's blown up in his face. All
right, so a cheap little hit. They've got a few.
I mean, look, by the way, in this inning, there's only been one hard hit ball. That was Alvarez's ball. Right. We've had three infield. Balls hit.
Yeah.
Dribblers this inning, and they've got 2 runs. So
small ball.
Russ, I think you make a great point in the sense that yes, even if we lose this game, this series is not over because Houston has not been impressive.
No, and
the bat's got to come alive though.
Well, but again, is it the bats coming alive, or is it the fact that this guy is pitching at the top of his game, and the kid who came in yesterday pitched really, really well, I'm
shaking my head, boys. I'm shaking my head.
Yeah, no, this game got away from him. This game got away from him bad.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
All right. Gurriel's a hit machine.
Well, yeah, right.
So now it's 4-0. Gurriel hits a ball. Yeah, it just looks like
that was a good pitch too. Good piece of hitting. That was a very good pitch.
Yeah, we weren't going to keep. Look, there's a reason when we were up 9-0, 9-3, that in these games we were still nervous is because
Yeah.
Houston has a high-powered offense.
It felt like we needed 12 every time I'd be there.
Yeah.
It felt like I didn't feel comfortable until there were like 10 or 12 up there, you know?
And they can put up big numbers and especially get lucky. Look, the fact is that this run is on Kyle Schwarber too, and one of the base runners.
And our pitching staff is what it is.
Two of the runs are on that error.
Oh yeah, no, we're out of this inning. This is probably a 2-0 game right now if Schwarber just doesn't literally.
You know, the talk was that our pitching staff was pitching, the bullpen was pitching over their head in the 2 games that we won. Correct?
Yeah, that's right.
They got. Yeah, and by the way, they didn't. They needed it in one of them, and then they got a couple of good starts. They got a great start from Erod. They got a great start from Pivetta. Right.
Yeah.
We've had 2 good starts. Well, we've had 3 good starts. We've had three really good starts in 5 games, right?
Yeah. Just Joe gave me an update from we're hoping that Joe will come on the show. He just gave me an update to me that your boyfriend Jeff is intoxicated. So
I could have got a big smooch out of him, maybe. You know what I mean?
I have to be honest with you. That crowd's not going to be pretty if this is a wipeout. That's for sure. Actually, I was surprised the market was very strong today for tickets. I thought it'd be soft. I thought, that it's an awkward time, 5:00, and if you've been there the last 2 nights, you're kind of exhausted. The last thing you want to do is go to another game. But tickets were going for big prices today.
Yeah. Well, game 5, it's maybe the last game of the year at Fenway, right? So it's a pivotal game in a series. I'm not surprised.
This team has the town right now. Everybody's talking about it. Everybody, everywhere I went today was Sox talk.
Well, I'd hope so. I mean, but the fact is that if we lose this series,
up.
More bad news. Wow. So then it's a wipeout now. All right. I'm not getting it.
Another bleeder though.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Look at that. Yeah. Does that get 2 in?
CNI single.
Wow.
I believe my eyes aren't that good, but I believe I see an 8.
Yeah, I'm going to be, luckily we are going to be able within minutes, probably after the show ending, to switch over to the Celtics and see and get a little something different, because this game is not going to be fun to watch for the next 3 innings. Listening to Joe Buck and
it'll be
Don
one of those. It'll be one of those.
Blather on about how great the Astros were all along and yada yada yada. So
tune in every couple innings and check the score.
Let's
exactly.
Score for a little bit, and let's talk about the future. Does Heimblum? It actually works for Heimblum's plan that we don't win the World Series, because then he's not really married to these players. Does he blow it up to some extent?
Well, remind me. So you've got Renfro's under contract.
Yeah.
Verdugo's under contract. Kiki's under contract. Bogarts is a little bit of a question mark, but I mean, do you see them doing anything with Bogarts this offseason? I mean, that would constitute blowing it up. That's for damn sure.
Well, look, you have a strong free agent market for shortstops. So that's going to have to, those teams are going to have to figure out that first as far as need. They're going to try to, Correas of the world, the Seagers of the world. I think that he'd like to move on from Xander. Yes.
Oh, you think he'd like to move on from Xander, or do you think he'll be open to it if someone makes him a big offer? I mean, I don't think he'd like to move on from Xander.
Well, it's a difficult situation, Russ, because he's not the shortstop of the future. He's a terrible shortstop. He wants to play shortstop. He can opt out after next year. Both parties cannot really agree. Future.
So I think, just to answer your question, Xander's kind of in play. JD is, he's got that funky contract, which puts him kind of in play. I think
wait. Let's just go back to JD for a second. He can opt out.
He can opt out or opt in. Yeah, he can opt out or opt in. Schwarber is kind of in play. He's a free agent, right? And then, so those are the three guys. I don't see them moving anyone else unless somebody really, look, they may think that Verdugo is a good player, but not a very good player and do something. Because you're going to want to put Duran into the equation. And, but I think the biggest changes will be on the pitching staff, right?
And then
You've got Sale and Evaldi, but you're going to be, would you bring Erod back?
I would not bring Erod back unless it was a user-friendly deal. Now, right. They will give him a qualifying offer, Erod, which will be a pretty high amount, but of course they would get a draft pick.
Right.
There's talk that if Erod doesn't get exactly what he wants in the free market, that he'd be happy to get 17, 18 for 1 year.
Yeah, he could take a 1 year like pillow contract with the Red Sox. So I don't think he'll blow it up, but I think there'll be modest changes.
Schwarber, does Schwarber sign with his team? I say he did.
I don't think you can afford. I mean, we saw it tonight. I don't think you can afford to have Schwarber and JD Martinez on the same team. Because that means you're playing high to DH every single night.
Yeah. And Bobby Dahlbeck.
And Bobby Dahlbeck, right?
And Tristan Casas, who
right.
That you brought Casas up to Worcester shows that he's possibly going to be coming with
close.
Another team in this spring.
No place for both Schwarber and Martinez, especially in a role where there's a Dahlbeck and a Casas, right? So I mean, who would you want, Schwarber or Martinez? Or JD?
That's a great question. I think that I like Schwarber better because I think that Schwarber is really good in the clubhouse. He brings a different element to it. And to be honest with you, right now, I feel like it's Schwarber's team.
He's got the personality for it.
I like JD. I like the attitude that he takes towards hitting. I think that's contagious throughout the club. I still like JD as a hitter. If I really need a hit, would I rather have Schwarber up there or JD? I'll take JD all day myself.
And then, what do you do? How do you think about Kike in second base versus center field and Arroyo and Jaron Duran right now? Like, how do you work that through in your head?
Yeah, Duran looked so poor at the plate, but what he really did, which is alarming, was he was about the worst center fielder stat-wise in baseball, and it wasn't even close. That's where it's very alarming. The hitting we understand, but the fielding should not be that behind major league level.
Kike seems like a top of the line center fielder right now. I mean, he appears to be.
Kike does. I know. That's for sure. So I wonder. Now, by the way, you could, again, if you move one of those guys out, a Renfroe or Verdugo, you can create more space. If you think that Kike is your center fielder of the future, you keep him there, but Kike could also be your second baseman of the future, right?
He's a much better center fielder statistically now. Everything.
Totally agree. It's a tricky situation. Duran looks like a guy who needs another half season in AAA.
Well, how about Duran and right? Duran can't do right?
Right, you could. I mean, Timmy, you could move on from Verdugo or Renfroe, who are both super cheap, but you could move somebody over to left or right. And
what kind of power does Duran have? Is Duran going to give us 30 home runs? I mean, do you see not Verdugo, but do you see our right fielder right now giving us 30 home runs again? And he's a liability. He's a liability defensively.
Look, all these great discussions show we have a lot of pieces to move if we want to. And that's, Bloom is excited about that. Look, the Milwaukees and the Arizonas of the world who don't like to spend a lot of money and have some great prospects will be very appealing to Bloom this offseason. You're going to see a lot of moves. I wouldn't be surprised if you see Dahlbeck go.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised at all. If you think Casas is your guy and you can get some, because Dahlbeck's second half of the year was huge for his value.
Yeah.
Huge. because you couldn't have gotten a bag of balls for him at the All-Star break.
Yeah, Dahlbeck gives me no faith when he steps up to bat. I just don't. A good pitcher is going to take him out just about every time. Is how I feel.
Look, you can see what you're going to see with Kike this offseason, either signed to a 3-year extension because they're going to commit to him, or they'll trade Kike because you'd be trading Hernandez right now at a.
Well, how many years do we have him for? Just 2?
One more left.
We have another year. Yeah.
So they're going to do something with him in the offseason. If I'm his agent, I'm trying to get a deal because he's coming off almost a historic postseason.
And his value has never been higher.
3 year, $12 million a year.
Oh,
his value's never been higher.
I think you have to go higher to me. He's on a 2-year, $70 million a year.
$7 million a year. Yeah.
Which, when he was signed, we all thought that was pretty high.
So you don't think he'd grab three or $12 million a year?
I would not if I was him. No.
Yeah, because here's the thing, but you do have a little bit of leverage because Kike can't be sitting here saying, "Well, I'm gonna produce this way." I know I'm.
Yeah, he's not gonna. He's his
year,
baseball
right?
card. He's his baseball card. He is what he is. He had like a 10 games of Gloria, or however many games it was. He's gonna be what he played.
He had a great year. I mean,
he had a great year, but not like
something in the middle.
There we go, boys.
Take up 15 million a year, but. I don't know, you're right, Scotty, that they've got a lot of pieces to move around, and Chaim will move some pieces around. Yeah.
I would not be at all upset if Dahlbeck goes.
Yeah.
Not at all.
So Vasquez was, I think about it a lot as far as Vasquez's future with the Red Sox. We just got a double with 1 out in the 6th. We're down 6-0. Vasquez, he has an option. Clearly now they pick that option up. So this is a guy, again, they have a lot of contracts to think about moving forward for the future. Is Vasquez a guy you try to sew up for another 3 years, or you probably going to move him?
Well, the question becomes, who do you replace him with? Plawecki's not a number one catcher. Connor Wong doesn't look to be a number one catcher. So if you're going to move Vasquez, you need to know you're going to have someone back who's as good as him, right?
But or you're probably going to try to go to the negotiating table and sew him up then. I mean, you're in a difficult situation. You don't want to lose him for nothing in the free agent market. You're not going to trade him during the season.
Right.
And apparently the guy likes it here. He already got paid once. So, what kind of deal you give a guy like Vasquez a 3-year, $10 million a year deal? I'm sure he's pretty happy, right?
Yeah. No, it creates plenty of wealth in the Vasquez family for that. So, and then our rotation would be, you'd have Sale, Evaldi, Pivetta. Now the question is with Houck and Whitlock, right?
Yeah, right.
Do you think Hines steps up and brings in 2 big money starters?
No. I think he's got 2 big money starters in Evaldi and Sale, and he's gonna look to see if he can, if Whitlock, Houck, and Pivetta, if you can get 2 of those 3 guys being good starters, 3, 4, or 4 or 5 starters, you're looking at bringing in 1 pitcher, probably.
I think he trades like a Dahlbeck and a Jeter Downs kind of move, or a Dahlbeck and a Jay Groom move to try to get a back end starter, 4th or 5th starter type.
Someone's going to get hurt. Someone's going to get injured to the
for
season.
Sure. Yeah, no doubt.
Well, my question is, boys, out of Whitlock and Houck, who's the most likely guy to go into the rotation?
It's such a great one because we really haven't seen Whitlock pitch more than 2-3 innings at a time. We've seen Houck pitch 5.
Yeah.
Well,
it feels like Houck.
Feels like it. I mean, Whitlock is
Houck,
such a weapon. I mean, you got a guy who can throw 2 innings at a time and be basically shut down in this day and age. Very valuable.
So you don't see them ever going back to traditional 8th inning guy, 9th inning guy.
Oh, sure. Yeah. If they had him, but Barnes, because they did that this year. What
do you think of Whitlock, as the closer? I mean,
sure.
9th inning.
That's what I mean. Like you get a guy who, but that's a kind of guy where if your setup guy in the 8th puts 2 men on, you could put Whitlock in for 4 or 5 outs.
I wouldn't mind. I'd like to go back to that day. We got our shutdown guy. He comes in, and if you have a lead going into the 9th, the game's over. 9 out of 10 times.
Yeah. The key thing is, can the guy flip an inning? Right? Can the guy go more than 3 outs? And if you got a guy like Whitlock who can do that, man, that would be amazing. So,
is Whitlock a closer, Russ? In 2000?
I think he's so valuable that if he's not in the starting rotation, then I think you got to make him your closer, and then that moves everyone back, right? You hope that Barnes, bounces back. He moves into a setup guy. Taylor was very good this year. He was terrific. Brazier probably has some left in his tank. So all of a sudden you've got, you're going into next year with a pretty decent bullpen.
Yeah, because we know that you reconfigure the bullpen every year. And Ottavino's gone.
Is this last year?
Right? Yeah, it was just a 1 year.
I don't think they're going to pay for that. And then you got these other guys like Darwin's in and Robles and stuff like that. You'll see what who you want to bring back.
And then maybe the Connor Seabolds of the world and stuff.
Yeah.
Look, we've been hearing a lot about these prospects, and a lot of these guys are now rising up in the ranks. AA and AAA, and the next step is Fenway Park.
Yep.
And it's going to be.
So we didn't. I know we're probably running short, but we have another two sports teams starting this week.
Yeah. We got 18 more minutes. The Celtics start tonight. This breaking news from the Grandstanders live desk: Al Horford is out. He will be replaced in the starting lineup by get this. Grant Williams shouldn't even be in the NBA.
My God.
And also Josh Richardson has migraine headaches, and we all know if you have migraine headaches, I know the lovely and talented Adrian gets them all the time.
Can't do anything, right?
Mobilized. Yeah. So he has a migraine headache. He won't be playing tonight. It's completely understandable.
Right.
So all of a sudden they're playing short-handed right now. And I don't like it when Al Horford is out. That means Grant Williams is in.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's an odd choice, that's for sure, right? Because you'd think you could put Neesmith in. It's clearly what he wants to do is start with 2 bigs, right? And so they've decided, Ime has decided that our starting lineup, not the finishing lineup. I don't think you're going to see Grant Williams in the lineup at the end of the game. So in the end, if Grant Williams comes in and plays 3 minutes, who cares? As a starter.
It's sad that it's upsetting to me that Grant Williams is in the starting lineup, though. I mean, he's your best option to start the game.
I can't believe he's on the roster, to be honest.
Well,
I know.
What's most disturbing about that is that you would think that if they wanted 2 bigs to start, that Juancho Hernan-Gomez would be the big, the next one in line. So it doesn't sound like Juancho did a whole hell of a lot in training camp to earn anybody's trust, right?
Yeah, right.
Apparently, I mean, Grant Williams is, I think,
but
one of
you'll
the worst
see,
players in the league.
Grant Williams is not going to play a lot of minutes tonight. And what I'm most interested in is just seeing, with Richardson out, that means you're going to see Neesmith and Langford, and those are the guys, and Pritchard. That's 25 minutes that become available tonight for some young guys.
Yeah, Langford had a couple of good games at the end of the exhibition season. What do we think of that? Carson Edwards used to have those same kind of games.
Yeah. Well, here's the problem, though. Carson Edwards was always only going to be 5'11", right? So at least Romeo's got a good 6'4", 6'5", and can do some things. So I'm excited. What do you expect? Do you expect what seed do you expect the Celtics to end in? 1 through 10.
Timmy, what do you think?
8.
Yeah.
Wow, okay.
So in the play-in game, then are they having a play-in game? That he's still doing that?
They're doing play-in.
Al Horford's going to be a big question mark for me this year. I mean, he looked horrible against us in the playoffs. What was it, 2 years ago? He got abused. He
played well. OKC in a short period of stint.
Yep.
Last year.
Looked good. He looked spry. He had plenty of rest. I think they're in the 5th seed area, somewhere around in there. I don't think they're a top tier team, but I think they got a lot of depth.
I want to see some. I want to see some ball movement this year. Right? I'm so sick of watching that. Isolation ball. It's disgusting to me.
How many wins do you think you have him at?
I got him at around 48, plus or
I
minus.
thought you might say that. Yeah, based on what you're saying.
Yeah, plus or minus.
Timmy, how many wins you got?
I go around 44. I don't have a lot of faith in this team.
Well, I just want to say that I was right the last time I predicted 90 wins for the Red Sox. It was actually 92.
We didn't know that. I'm
going to predict exactly 500 team. That's what this feels like.
Wow.
41 wins.
Wow.
44.
You are down on them.
Again, it's just my theory that I've shared with you before is that this team is not capable of wiping out any teams. And in the NBA, you have to play every close game in the last 5 minutes of the fourth quarter. It's very difficult to get into that 50+ season. Well,
here's what we got to look for. And this is the thing that was so frustrating last year. Guys go out, they miss shots. They just did not play hard on defense last year. Yeah. And if they don't come out, then that's how they lose so many of those 50-50 games, Scotty, at the end, where they just didn't play defense. If this team does not come out playing hard on defense, we have a problem, right? And the problem at that point in time, you got to take a look around and say, probably one of those two guys needs to go because the chemistry is not right. But they could also go out. They've got some good defensive talent on this team. They could come out and play hard from the beginning, and I think we'll be happy.
Well, to me, it's important that Jason Tatum integrates the other four guys on the court when he's out there. It just can't be a thing where it's a bottomless pit where all of a sudden he gets the ball. And that's it.
I was just thinking, you watch Larry Bird highlights. 50% of them are great passes, right? If you show a Jason Tatum highlight, a career highlight, what percentage of his highlights would be great passes?
He's not
very small. Very
now,
small.
By the way, he's not been asked to, I think this year I think he's going to be asked. I think a lot of that offense is going to run through Jason Tatum this year. And I think he's going to be asked to do exactly what you just said to me. If he doesn't do it when he's asked this year, we got a problem. The other thing is you want to see him get to the foul line. You want to see Tatum take it to the hoop a lot more often than if he's not taking, 8 foul shots a game, plus or minus, then he's just not developing like we need.
I think he showed a huge improvement taking it to the hole last year. Yeah. That muscle he put on his shoulders added greatly to his ability to bring it. So he has to live up to that now, Russ, just like you said. He has to, become one of those stars who's at the foul line all game, just like the other superstars in the league.
I don't know. I disagree with you a little bit, Timmy, on that. I felt like, he pouted a lot during the season. And there were times when we were at that Philadelphia game, Timmy,
where that was disgusting.
He would hardly even go past half court, and he was just heaving balls up and then running back. What I was impressed by, I don't know if you guys, was his rebounding. And I think that's part of the game. And I think it's needed. They're a smaller team. And a guy like Jason Tatum, who's 6'9", needs the rebound. And I felt like he added that to his game.
Yep. And we got another, the kind of good news is I think Dennis Schroeder is going to be a kind of guy that you hated when he was on someone else's team and you love him when he's on ours. He's just a prick, right? And we need more sort of prickishness on our team. Yeah.
I like Schroeder because he's the kind of guy, if you have some weak offensive lineups out there, he's the guy that's more than happy to take every shot.
Yeah. And can't wait to see the young guys. I'm really looking forward to seeing Neesmith and Pritchard and Langford and Williams, Time Lord, see if they can, if they're going to develop.
Who makes the biggest jump out of Neesmith, Langford, and Pritchard? Who makes the biggest?
How about Williams? Not including Williams in that conversation?
No, Williams is pretty established now, having signed a second contract. No, I think we know what we got, Timmy, with time.
I think the jump
started out. Go ahead, Russ.
Yeah. I think the jump, because I think Pritchard was pretty good. I think Pritchard has a lower ceiling. The biggest jump you may see, it might be in Langford, because he's got the farthest to go. He's been horrible, right?
Yeah.
If he turns into a decent rotation player, for me, that's going to be a big deal.
Well, first of all, he hasn't been on the court he had a wrist injury. People who had their wrists amputated have had prosthetics put on and functioning quicker than his mysterious wrist injury. They didn't even have a cast on. It was just a wrist injury. That's, of course, the most important thing with him, I think, is staying on the court.
Timmy, who do you see taking the jump out of those three?
We talk about Pritchard's ceiling being low. I think he could, become more consistent. I thought he started strong and then he became inconsistent. Like you couldn't depend on what he was going to do every night. I think if he can become a more consistent, what you're getting every night kind of guy, I think he has the capability to be a consistent contributor.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they had
a real NBA player.
Well, Pritchard, from all accounts in the exhibition season and stuff in practice, has looked really good. So that would be the least surprise if Pritchard made the
Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah.
All right, let's go to the Patriots in the final few minutes. First of all, Mac Jones, if anything comes out of this season and it's that you have a starting quarterback for the next 5 to 7 years, then the season has to be perceived as a success.
What's scary? He was supposed to be the big question mark, and everyone around him was supposed to be established. And he's been the only established guy in this whole season so
totally
far.
Agree.
Who has done his job, and it's the offensive line, the linebackers, the defensive backs, the front seven. I mean, Mac Davis has been the only one who's shined so far.
The only two guys who, I mean, honestly, there's the two guys who I feel like have kind of jumped out as performing above expectation are Mac Jones and Matthew Judon. And that's it.
Yeah.
I don't see anyone else on this team who said, wow, this guy, we got something here.
Yeah. Absolutely. Well, yeah, Uche for glimmers.
Not on the field. I mean, he's not playing.
So I think this all comes back to Belichick.
Guys.
I think, I think there's a big coaching deficiency right now. I think it's a negative when you look at the plus minuses on this team. I'd say the coaching, and that has to do with the defensive coordinator, the offensive coordinator, everybody across the board. I think they've all been on the negative side so far. And
I agree.
Mac Davis and
Mac Jones
are the only two pluses I can look at.
Mac Davis was the singer in North Dallas 40.
Mac Jones. Sorry about that.
But boys, here's my theory. Had you kept Cam Newton, the whole premise of this, and I agree, was of course the not being vaccinated, but it also was that he thought that Cam would be a disruption in the locker room, and whenever Mac Jones faltered, that everybody of course, everybody loves a backup quarterback. Now, it was pretty clear during this season that Mac Jones would have been the starting quarterback. Nobody would have been screaming for Cam Newton at any point of this season. However, had you used Cam Newton in a Taysom Hill role, you might have had 2 extra wins in this season. Instead of giving the ball to Brandon Bolden, you had Cam Newton running the ball. And in those kind of short yardage situations, it could have changed how this season's record is at this point. Do you agree?
I think the negative side would have outweighed that, Scotty.
Yeah, I do too. I think that guy would have been a distraction.
Moping around the locker room. It just wasn't a good fit anymore.
Look, I mean,
distraction, despite the fact, even though that Mac Jones has played clearly.
Because here you have an established MVP caliber guy with an ego, the size of the room, who's not playing, getting in 2 plays a game, 3 plays a game.
Yeah,
I think we would.
The other argument is that you didn't need Cam Newton or anyone else. You needed Damian Harris to not fumble that ball. You needed JJ Taylor to not fumble that ball. You needed Belichick to make a better, they really should be 4-2.
You should not be handing that ball to
they should have won the Miami game. They had that game under control. They dominated Miami, and Harris drops the ball.
Why would we give the ball to Bolden ever? Why?
And then the Tampa Bay game was within our grasp, and Belichick just made a horrible decision, an indefensible decision there. Plus, we had turnovers in that game. Stupid turnovers.
The Dallas game was in 3rd and 25.
We should have won 2 out of those.
Okay, I'll give you that. Right. Yeah, exactly. Right.
Right. Just by not making mistakes. It's not, you didn't have to do anything extra. You just needed to stop putting the ball on the ground.
Yeah. Right. Just basic maintenance.
Don't make mistakes. Don't beat yourself. And now we're doing the things week in and week out that we watch other teams do for 20 years.
Yeah.
Horrifying.
Is Bob Kraft going to have a conversation? Bob Kraft had made a statement. Bob Kraft doesn't like to spend money. He likes to make it. And he said that, I bought a lot of groceries. I expect that these are going to be cooked in a fine, tasteful manner. Does Bob Kraft have a conversation with Bill Belichick at the end of the season?
Do you do it after 2 seasons? Or do you wait for a third?
No, I mean, at the end of this season, let's say they win 7 games. They go 7-10 or 8-9, they miss the playoffs. So 2 straight seasons, really mediocre. He just spent $270 million. I think Bob Kraft would go to Belichick and say, pick which job you want to do, because you're not going to do all these jobs anymore, right? So pick, if you want to be the GM, you can be the GM. If you want to be the coach, you can be the coach. If you want to be the defensive coordinator, you can be the defensive coordinator. But the days of when a 70-year-old man in the NFL being the head coach, the GM, and the defensive coordinator, because your yucca-putt son can't handle the job, is over. I mean, that's what
I don't know if I want him as the GM if these are the guys he's picking. He's not picking good guys, not paying the right contracts from what I've seen so far from the guys he's picked. I mean, except for Judon, everyone else has been.
Don't tell me, please, that Matt Patricia is going to be the next head coach of the New England Patriots.
No, I think it could be McDaniels, or it could be like Bill O'Brien. It'll be someone from the family. They're not going outside the family.
Oh, okay. Is that right?
Right. Like they're not going to bring up somebody who's been in the Packers organization for 20 years and as coach.
You don't think a sleeper could be Mayo?
Vrabel, I could see them going after Vrabel.
Vrabel.
Yeah, that's what. Yeah, you'd have to pay a handsome price for him.
Or could they go out and find some young genius that's floating around?
I just don't see that, Timmy. That just doesn't really. If you're going to put someone under, if Belichick's going to stay as GM, he's going to have, Now,
how long do you think Belichick hangs around?
Is the Giants maybe looking for a new head coach?
Joe Judge might be the answer.
No, I think Belichick could go to the. I mean, if Kraft has had it, the elegant way to do this would be for Belichick to say, you know what, I want to go back to where I started. I want to spend the last 2 years of my career doing this.
He loves New York.
And then he trades him. They make a deal.
Yeah, something. But I don't think if they finish 7-10, I don't think Kraft's going to do nothing.
Yeah, I absolutely. Would a surprise and I love the point, Russ, about keeping in the family. I never thought of that. Would be Gerard Mayo with the whole idea of the next Vrabel type?
Yeah, I mean, maybe, but you'd really have to get great coaches. McDaniels would have to stay, which I don't know why McDaniels would stay at that point. Like if they skip over McDaniels and hire Gerard Mayo, if I'm McDaniels, see you later.
Yeah. Mayo, when Belichick was with the Giants as defensive coordinator, he was an obvious genius defensive coach. Has Mayo shown us anything like that? No,
clearly not.
His defense.
His defense is not winning games. They're losing.
He's got a great personality, but I don't see anything.
I want a guy with great things going on in his head, like Belichick had as defensive coordinator. Belichick was winning Super Bowls. He was winning the Super Bowls for Parcells.
All right, boys, we got to go. So I ask you one quick question before we go. We only have a minute left. Would you hire a defensive type coach or offense? What's most important for your next head coach? Is he a defensive expert or an offensive expert?
I would go defense.
Yeah. Okay.
And especially if I felt like, look, I think McDaniels has done a terrific job with the kid. Like Mac Jones does not progress like this if McDaniels is not doing a good job with it behind the scenes. Yeah, you got to give him credit. You may not like his play calls,
right?
But I'm fine if Josh McDaniels is Mac Jones' head coach, or offensive coordinator for the next 3 years. I'm good with that.
Yeah, great point. Timmy, defense or the offense? We got to go.
Well, when you first started talking, I was going to say offense, but I think if McDaniels would stay as the offensive coordinator, you'd have to go with the defensive mind.
Yeah, that's a great point. Yeah,
Scotty, what about you?
I think offense, if McDaniels is not the head coach, because I think that when you have this developing quarterback, I want those two to grow
Gotta
up.
get the most out of him.
And that guy, if you went outside the family, that guy Moore from Cowboys, he's the flavor of the week. So
Right.
we think about him. But that's our show for tonight. Want to thank everyone
that was
behind the scenes. Want to thank Corbin.
sad but fun.
Yeah, want to thank the fellas. Yeah, the game did go as well, but that was fun to do that. Doing this while the game's going on. We should do that again. Please check us out on our website at thegrandstanders.com and tune again next Wednesday night at 6:30 for another edition of Grandstanders Live. I'm your host, Scott Kerman. Have a great and happy night.